Sweet jerseys, lots of fans, awesome flags, music. Man, the Buenos Aires rugby scene looks insane. Just as insane as this try saver. Rugby. Hello and welcome to this week's Rugby Update, where the results are 2 days old and the news is filled with bias. Let's start with the URC. The competition is about to take a month-long break for the November International, so this provides the perfect opportunity to see how everything's standing and what the teams have been doing. Starting at the bottom of the table is standard practice, and seeing Zebra and the Dragons down there is standard practice too. Unfortunately, these two teams continue to struggle in the URC, even though they do seem a little better than years gone by. Zebra have already matched their season average by beating Munster early on, but the Dragons have a few more results to go before they match the usual 3 to 4 wins a season. Next up the ladder, we have a group of 5 teams on 2 wins each. Munster, losing to Zebra earlier on in the season, was seismic, and it left them so shaken that their lineout has fallen to pieces. They really need to fix that. The Stormers have reached peak Stormers. The combination of Marnie, Gelant and Willemse is just too mad and joyful for this world to accept. So the universe has handed down harsh punishment and a blown groin for Willemse for their hubris. The Ospreys seem to be occupying around the correct spot. With their limited squad size, the whole bunch of injuries and their inexplicable decision to announce the departure of Coach Booth at the end of the season, at the beginning, I'm not seeing much joy in the future. Benetton and Edinburgh are in a familiar position. Though Edinburgh have had a tough start to the competition, but with all those difficult games and the SA Tour out of the way now, they might start climbing that ladder. Benetton still have the trip south, and they have some tough teams to come, so they might stay where they are or even go down. Teams on 3 wins. Those include the Sharks, Ulster, Cardiff, Scarlets and Connacht. And I said all of that out of my head. As always, the Sharks seem to be 2 sides playing in the same jersey. If there's a Bok team announced on a Tuesday, then expect upset Sharks fans on a Sunday morning. No Bok side, then those same fans are probably singing on a Saturday night. Cardiff, Ulster, Connacht and the Scarlets are true mid-table teams right now. One week they'll drop a banger against a championship side for a great match, and then the next one they'll play a stinker against a side they should be beating. It's that second type of match that will determine where these sides end up at the end of the season, though I must say the Scarlets are looking pretty good this year. Next up on the table we have the teams on 4 wins. That's reigning champions the Glasgow Warriors, 2-time finalists the Bulls, and then just a team that's glad to be here, guys. The Bulls and Warriors are exactly where you expect them to be at this point in the comp. They've battered some teams and they've lost a tough game here and there. But mostly they've both looked very good this season. The Lions are certainly the surprise package this year. Thanks to some good results at home and a few tough wins on the road, they are enjoying the limelight for a change. Which sucks, because now all their best players are getting offers they cannot refuse. Can a sheik just buy this team and move them out of downtown Joburg, please? It's like my entire rugby existence is getting 2 licks of the ice cream before it hits the floor. How long can I stand this? And finally at the top of the table we have the unbeaten Leinster. Standard practice, except this year no one seems to be able to score against them either. That's going to be a problem. Now I bought into this league about 20 minutes into the first URC game ever played, so I am not an objective observer. But I do really enjoy this competition. The rugby is good, the crowds are getting better and better, and apparently the TV numbers are up again. Even in Wales. It's just a nice rugby competition. But now, to hell with all that niceness. The Autumn Nations series is about to start. A random collection of international rugby matches designed to make the unions enough money to buy some Christmas presents and hopefully keep those Middle Eastern wallets away for at least a few more months. Over the next 5 weekends, international rugby games will be spread out all over Europe, starting this weekend with 2. England versus New Zealand and Scotland versus Fiji. We'll see if England can finally land a win against the All Blacks, who they got pretty close to in New Zealand in July. The ABs are improving though and will be in better shape, having turned Japan into pink mist just this past weekend. England will be coming in cold, which is not something you want against the ABs, no matter what their form has been like. Scotland should not have the same issue with Fiji. If Townsend picks mostly the Glasgow side and sprinkle in some Duans here and there, they should be fine. But if they lose, it's Gregor's fault for not picking Johnny. Karma will catch you for this at some point. So those are the games for the weekend, but what about the news? Which means show laptop, see I'm reading off of it, and put it back. Mostly it's just news about the squads for these international games and how they are continually growing and shrinking thanks to injuries. For instance, the Boks lost utility back Damian Willemse this past weekend, so they called up Cameron Hanekom, a number 8. And then just today, the Boks announced that legendary tight head prop Frans Malabre is injured, so they called up fly half come fullback Jordan Hendrickse. I mean, the word squad is just a made-up noise from humans, so who cares if any of this makes sense? At least the Wallabies' new jersey makes sense. It's the one they'll be wearing next year for the British and Irish Lions tour, and it's got a sweet collar coming back. Interestingly, the indigenous markings on the sides and on the back were made by current Wallaby Dylan Peach. All these talents you never know of, right? I wonder if Lucanio Am or Quagga Smith could come up with cool designs. Anyways, it is okay for a Wallabies jersey, but I can never really like a team who calls themselves the green and gold, when obviously they should be the gold and green. It just makes sense. And it makes sense for this week's episode to end right there. I will see you all next week when we can talk about the big old tactics in 2 test matches. I love that shit. Bye.